And let's go. It is Tuesday, October 19th. Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line on Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Mr. Edwards, good morning to you, sir.
Man, good afternoon.
Or good afternoon.
Hey, it's all good, man. Good afternoon to you, buddy.
Is it morning or afternoon? No, it's afternoon.
It's always morning somewhere. It's always afternoon somewhere. Good afternoon, man. Excited to be here. See, my boy Alex is back in the studio, and guess what? He came on the perfect day to come back. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Some sensitivity going around in the Spartans neck of the woods.
Lots of sensitivity that we'll get to in just a little bit. But Stan Edwards is here as well. Former Michigan Wolverine great, former NFL great. Stan, how you doing today, buddy?
High praise. Hey, listen. Michigan had off a bye week last week. Yeah. Michigan State has a bye week. When is my bye week coming? I'm wondering that. But actually, you guys are paying me way too much money for me to be taking a bye week. So I'm glad to be here.
You don't want a bye week.
Tom Mazawey making all those bucks over there. How you doing, Maz?
I'm great, fellas. Let's talk, man. Let's do this.
We got a good show today.
Yeah, we do. And we're going to get right to the Lions with a fresh perspective from Stan Edwards here. I want to just, if I can go back first and just kind of set the stage for you. After the game, Lions go 0-6. Jared Goff was not good again. Here's what Dan Campbell had to say about his quarterback.
I do. There's a couple of things, and it's I would say all of the above. I don't want to get too far into where that'll go as far as the roster, but we're looking at that. I think we're going to shake some things up here a little bit, and then as it pertains to practice, there's a couple of things that I have in my head as to which way I want to go with it, but I do want to change it up and see if I can get us into some type of there again, more of a rhythm or tempo early, just to get us going offensively and defensively. I mean, I said this yesterday, but this is what we wanted to come in this game and really come out of the gates, and we did not do that. We went the opposite way, and so I think there's some things in practice we have to do to at least see if we can supercharge ourselves somewhat.
So that was Dan Campbell yesterday. Now this was a tweet regarding Jared Goff here and just how bad he has been. QBR, Pro Football grade, yards per attempt, 29th out of 32 teams in the league. Average depth of target, 31st out of 32 teams in the league. Touchdown interception percentage, just very bad. Time to throw, 14th in the league. So he does have a little bit of time. That's middle of the road there.
Who puts more of that on him?
Exactly. Yeah. But compared to what Dan Campbell said yesterday about changes, you look at these numbers. Is Jared Goff going to be one of those guys where there is a change made prior to this week's game against the Rams? Here's what NFL Network's Tom Pelissero had to say about that.
Well, Andrew, let's start here. The Lions are not benching Jared Goff, and Jared Goff is not the sole reason that they are struggling on offense right now and off to this 0-6 start. They have had penalties. They have had missed assignments. They are obviously shorthanded along the offensive line as well as a wide receiver. There's a lot that they need to clean up before they consider any type of major changes, particularly benching their quarterback. Let's also remember this. Part of the reason that the Rams were able to pull off the Matthew Stafford trade with Detroit was that Detroit agreed to take on Jared Goff's full contract. That means $25 million fully guaranteed this year and $26 million that the Lions still owe Goff fully guaranteed next year. The Rams did pay a little bit of that money in a bonus, but bottom line, they are committed financially to Jared Goff through 2022, which makes it that much harder to believe that after 6 games in, they're going to change course here.
Now, Tom Pelissero will join us on Thursday, but Stan, I'll come to you first with this. Dan Campbell critical of his quarterback after Sunday. On Monday comes and says we need some changes. And I'm not sure anybody really thought that one of those changes was going to be Jared Goff being benched, but I think his play has dictated that. What say you about the whole over-encompassing conversation regarding the quarterback of the Detroit Lions?
Let me come to Dan Campbell second. Let me talk about Jared Goff first. I had no idea he was making that much money.
Is that? I'm sorry, Stan. Is the mic on? Okay, sorry, I'm having a little trouble here.
Yeah, so I'll talk louder. And I didn't realize he was making that much money, on top of which when you're going to replace a quarterback and your team is losing, you can't go from bad to worse, because I can't believe the quarterbacks backing him up are worse. Because if you think about it, they have another 8-9 games left, and if you're a whole lot worse than Jared Goff is now, you will have chaos inside Ford Field. So you can't trade him, you can't bench him right now and do that. So I agree with Tom Pelissero there. He has got to be the quarterback at least for the next 4 or 5 games. And if he really stinks up the joint, then you may consider it. On to Dan Campbell. It's getting to the point where every word he says, all the cynics are going to hang on to every word and every syllable. Right now, he is saying we and us. People are going to start to pay attention to see if he say, you know, them and I. And so he's got to be very careful how he critiques not only Jared Goff, but the rest of his team moving forward.
Braylon, this is a situation, too, where, you know, we saw in this highlight clip as well, Goff missing wide open guys. I mean, TJ Hawkinson has not gotten going since the second week of the season. I mean, eight catches, and then the next 3-4 weeks he's had a total of 8 catches. The guy is just absent. When he is open, Goff has to be better and hit him. Are you surprised of how emphatic Pelissero was that Goff will not be benched?
No, actually, to be honest, I'm not. You know, if you look, and I think yesterday we were talking about, you know, potentially benching him. I think we really were joking, to be honest. I don't think there's a level of seriousness that we thought that he could be benched. And if you think about what Tom Pelissero was saying, as well as what my dad is saying, it makes sense. You're paying him all this money. There are some shortcomings, you know, on the team, you know, from the offensive line being hurt to the wide receiver skill set to what you guys are doing. So there are some shortcomings, but they're paying him a lot of money, so they're probably not going to bench him. But you got to make plays. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. My issue with Goff is if you look at all those stats, he was bad at all that. But one thing that stuck out, he was 14% in terms of time allowed to throw the ball. Even with the injuries this year to the offensive line, they still giving him enough time to throw the ball. They've still given him a chance to complete passes, to complete plays. And you look there, you see TJ Hawkins, he's open. TJ Hawkinson was open. The throw was way overthrown. He thrown out of bounds. He made a mistake on that play, that situation, that play. Maz talked about it yesterday. It's just the way in which he's gone about the game. It's just he's made bad plays. He's made a lot of MAs. He just doesn't look comfortable in there. He's not going to be benched, but he has to be better. He just has to be better.
You know, he's making, 20-plus bills a year. You're making that kind of money, and I'm not begrudging anybody's contract. You have to play better than that.
Yeah.
That is not the production of a guy making $20-25 million a year.
You know,
can I say something about Goff? He just doesn't show that he has the fire right now. He just looks like a guy that's just going through the motions. And you're the leader. You're the quarterback. He doesn't. People say Stafford was a quiet leader. Really wasn't a great leader. If you're going to compare Stafford to this guy doesn't look like he even wants to be in the game. That's my opinion of watching football all these years. He does not look like he is the guy that he wants to be here.
There's one thing you can always, if you want to compare him to Matt Stafford, there's one thing Matt Stafford was going to always do is fall in love with his arm. Matt Stafford was going to throw the ball and try to make plays. He was not going to miss too many guys that were open, but sometimes he threw it to guys that weren't open because he thought his arm was good enough to get it there.
We look at this too, guys, about individual games. What happens in an individual game on a bad team in a bad franchise, and then you try to extrapolate that out of, okay, how do we get better? How do we get a winning culture here when we're losing football games? How does that happen? And Braylon, you had mentioned we were kind of joking yesterday about Jared Goff getting benched, and I don't know if that was the right word to characterize how I felt about it, because I agree with you. I don't think it was going to happen, right. But if you want to create a culture of winning, when you're turning the ball over 3 or 4 times a game, when you're missing guys, you want to send a message to the rest of your team.
Benjamin, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You want to send a message to the rest of your team that we don't coach that stuff, to use an old Bobby Ross term. We don't coach that stuff around here, that kind of play is unacceptable on the Detroit Lions. Bench them. And if you want to see if you can kickstart him here, going back to his old stomping grounds in L.A., that's fine. But if Jared Goff, if he turns the ball over 2 or 3 more times this week, I'd bench him. I'd send a message to my guys. You want culture? Culture is if you don't perform, your butt is on the bench.
Yeah, so let me go back on something I said based on what you just said, and it's brilliant, a lot of wisdom in there. You have to play him, but I think if you want to send a message, you have lost 6 games in a row. So you got a game or a few quarters that you can send a message by sitting him down and have everybody else say, oh, okay, maybe I'm next. Maybe I need to step my game up. So I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you say.
And also, if you look at, because I think they're going to, and we talk about it, they're going to get 50 hung up on them on this coming week against Los Angeles and Matt Stafford. They're going to get 50 hung on them. Let's just call it a spade a spade.
You really think so?
I know so.
You don't think they're going to, that Stafford
We just explained yesterday.
You just take it easy maybe on them? Put 30 up, 30-17, around there?
So going back to what I was saying about this 50 ball that they're going to get put on them by the Los Angeles Rams and Matt Stafford, that would be the perfect game to execute that, because now not only are they going to get 50 and they're not going to be in the game, you can use that to bench him. So it's like, all right, we're out the game, so you take him out. So you kind of get you 2 birds, 1 stone.
I will say, Tom Mazawey, this man that you're talking to right now was just a cool 7-0 in the NFL last weekend. I would pump the brakes on questioning him. Pick
every game, pick everything.
Everyone has a good week.
That's 2 good weeks in a row, by the way.
I gotta get a break in, guys. When we come back,
appreciate you over there, buddy.
I ain't going anywhere.
Including last night, by the way.
Including last night to cap off an NFL weekend. 7-0, my partner, baby. How you doing out there? Lions and Rams. We'll get into this. You want to see what Stan thinks about that 50 burger that Matthew Stafford's about to put up. We'll do that next. Get Stan's take on college football as well. It's Tuesdays with Stan, Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, our studio sponsor and the place I put my sports betting in. By the way, not bad last night, Braylon. Good job. I thought the Colts were going to win that game by 3. I was wrong again. I'll throw that week out. I'll try it again tonight. NBA starts. NHL's in full swing. And you got the baseball playoffs, ALCS and NLCS. Where would you want to bet it other than on MyBookie.ag? Don't forget, use that promo code Woodward. They'll double your first deposit just for doing it. Put some money in, they're going to double it for you, and that's your money to do whatever you want with it. Plus, don't miss out on the winning season. Use that promo code Woodward to get double your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you got a problem gambling, call 800-270-7117.
Never bet against a man that could be an X-Man, and that is Derrick Henry while he's at home in Tennessee. We'll get more on that. But speaking of X-Man, what about Aaron Donald, the Los Angeles Rams, and Matt Stafford? Dad, I want to see if you agree with me that the 50 ball is potential. And the reason why I say that is Matt Stafford remembers his time here. Yes, he loves the fans. But there were some tough times. There were some frustrations. There were some boos. There were some things that he felt was left on the table by the front office. There was some unappreciation at times. He's now in a situation where he has a great offense. He's having the time of his life. His wife has the biggest smile on her face every game in and game out. And they got a really good team. You know how it is to leave a team, go to another team, and just have your team support you when you play against that team. You don't think Matt Stafford's team, and that's the Andrew Wentworths of the world, or his left tackle, you don't think his wide receivers, you don't think Aaron Donald, you don't think Josh McVay is dialing up play after play after play for Matt Stafford to have success in his new home against the former team in the Detroit Lions?
It depends. If he get his satisfaction in a 2-hour window, it won't be a 50 burger. He'll be fine, and they'll call the dogs off. Mm-hmm. But if they're into the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, and not that the game is not decided, but Matt has not really put his foot on their throat yet, no, there could be. They could leave him in the game for the entire game, and just to make sure he gets close to throwing for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. So it depends on how the game unfolds if they're going to put a 50 burger on them or not, in my opinion.
Here's what Matt Stafford had to say about this game, and we talked about the headline of it yesterday was that it was just like every other game. But if you go in depth a little bit, here's what he said. Here's the quote. In pregame, am I going to say hey to some old teammates and friends, the Ford family, hopefully, if they make the trip? Absolutely. I've got nothing but great relationships with people over there, so a lot of respect for the organization, the team, the ownership. So, he went on to say, but once that ball is snapped, once that ball kicks off, it will be just like any other NFL football game. Say what you want about that. Nobody really buys that. Once you – I think guy played here for 12 years. He wants to kick their teeth in.
I think part of that is true, and the reason why it's true is you look at the Los Angeles Rams. They're 5-1, with the exception of losing to the best team in football, the Cardinals. They're right there. And they beat Tom Brady, who's right now Super Bowl MVP. He's probably the leader in that category. I don't know. Maybe Kyler Murray, maybe Lamar Jackson. But they're 5-1. They're living the good life. They're playing well. They're the top of they're second in their division. The Lions are 0-6. So part of that conversation is true. It is just another game because it's the Lions. They're 0-6. They're 5-1. They're really good. They don't have to worry about that. It's not like you're looking at a game where your former team is, Green Bay, and Green Bay's 5-1, and you guys are 5-1, or you're 4-2, and you guys are 5. So you don't have to look at it from that perspective. It's a really bad team. But on the other side of that, it's still your former team. Right. You want to show up and show out.
And conversely, too, on the other side, Stan, Jared Goff is going to play his former team that pretty much threw him to NFL purgatory with the Detroit Lions. It just kind of threw him aside.
I don't know if 0-6 is purgatory. That might be hell.
Well, right, okay. Threw him to hell with the Devils and the horns and the pitchforks and everything like that. Look at the stats with Sean McVay. Jared Goff with Sean McVay, 42-20 with McVay as his head coach. He is 0-13 with everybody else. Braylon and I talk about it all the time. It's not when you get taken, it's who you get taken by, right?
Yeah.
Where you get drafted, who's your coach, what's the scheme? It's so important, Stan.
Well, it is the Detroit Lions, but it's also remnants of last night's Monday Night Football game, and we'll talk about that. Just every now and then, somebody can bring something to the table because they are professional football players and they get paid too, where you don't want to be the ones that the Lions get their first victory off of. Couple that with Matthew Stafford playing his old team. Yeah, I think they're going to come and play. I don't think it looks like just a regular opponent to them. They don't want to be the first folks to lose to Detroit Lions, and Matthew Stafford's going to want to put on the show.
Translation, 50.
Hey, Sean McVay spoke out as well on how he treated his quarterback, Jared Goff. They kind of traded him in the middle of the night. Obviously, Stafford's on vacation with his family, and McVay is on vacation with his family. Whitworth was there as well.
Just so happened
they're in
like
Cabo,
that. Yeah.
hanging out on the lounge chairs, and they're like, hey, you want to come to the Rams? He's like, hey, if you can get me to the Rams, I'm there. But Sean McVay kind of stepped up and said, I could have done it a little bit better.
He basically had no communication for months about that. And Sean McVay, now with Matthew Stafford as his quarterback, with one of the favorites in the NFC to represent the conference in the Super Bowl, says, yes, I wish I was a better, clearer communicator.
Yeah, you know what? McVay can keep that. At the end of the day, it's easy for him to say that now because he's about to play against Goff, and it makes him look like a bigger man. He owns up to it. He could have handled it a little different. He really doesn't care. He's just about to play golf. If they weren't going to play golf this week, he would have never said anything like that. This is what front office, this is what general manager, and this is what head coaches do in sport. I just saw an interview with DeMar DeRozan of he plays for
San
the Spartans.
Antonio?
He's with San Antonio now. He talked about Masai. Masai is the GM of the Toronto Raptors, and they told him they went to dinner. And they said, we were not going to move you. We're not going to trade you. 2 days later, they traded him for Kawhi Leonard. And obviously, it worked out for Masai and the Toronto Raptors. But that's what they do in sport. Yeah, right. They don't care about you realistically. They care about – it's always about the organization. It's never about the players.
Yeah, it's just like no different. And I'm not trying to troll here, but it's no different than like Mel Tucker saying he's staying at
Go
Colorado, go Buffalo or whatever.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, he's in East Lansing at the introductory press conference saying, go
Spartans.
go green.
Yeah, Jared Goff has to get over this. This is professional football, and they're paying you that kind of money. Yeah, you would like to think that because of the relationships and the intimate time you spent with those folks, that they would do it a little differently. It's big boy sports. You got to get over it. They traded you without letting you know what's going to happen. Get over it.
Yeah.
I bet you the Ram fans will welcome him. I don't think they're going to boo him. I don't think they have anything to boo Jared Goff for.
No,
But I hope they give him a good welcome at least. I mean, and I hope he plays his best game.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it's his coming out party here. Maybe he throws for 3-4 touchdowns. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, and something about we've talked about energy. You know, we were talking about energy with Joy on Sunday. We were talking about energy. Energy is real, and that might, like you said, we haven't talked anything about Goff and what he can do. Energy is real. You get a different level of energy. You feel a different need. You feel different strength when you're in situations that you want to do good. You want to put on because of how you feel, and this could be a situation where Jared Goff digs into something and he finds something and he really gives the Lions something good.
Well, maybe this has been on his back the whole year. I got to go to L.A. and play the Rams in Week 7. I can't wait to get this game over with. Maybe once this game is over with, he becomes Jared Goff that won 6 playoff games.
That's your answer right there. You keep asking that question. You said, what is it going to take to get his confidence back? What is it going to take to get the guy that went to the Super Bowl? You might be right. This might be the moment.
I hope so.
Real quick, Braylon knows this. When you get into a game, if you take a team light and they start to run, if you're not ready to play that game, and I'm talking about the Rams, you cannot turn it on. If you're not ready, you know they're making a run and you know they're better, you can all of a sudden just manufacture some type of energy to kind of turn it on and beat them.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers are crossed. And I think that's fingers are crossed for any defender out there that tries to tackle Derrick Henry. I want to get a thought on the Monday Night Football game last night from you guys. Also, I want to get into some college football. Michigan State is 7-0 on their way now. Their next game is the Michigan Wolverines. We'll get an early assessment of that game from Stan Edwards. We'll do that next. This is Tuesdays with Stan, Ermanni, and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey gang, I want to tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. We like simple things, and there is nothing more simple than just coming in, walking in, signing in, sitting down here at Lady Jane's. It is cool, it is uncomplicated, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. We're open 7 days a week from 10 to 8. All you got to do, you walk in, you sign in, you sit down, and before you know it, like I said, handsome and clean. And we're always available as well. The best ability is availability. Here at Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Gang, Derrick Henry on pace to rush for 2,200 yards this season.
Just give it to him.
I mean,
I told you.
And I was texting with you guys last night. Braylon, I was texting with you last night about, the 76-yard touchdown run. How a man that big can run that fast.
21 miles per hour to be 21.8 miles per hour to be exact.
Is just that's just not right. It should be illegal, Stan.
Yeah, so here's what's interesting, because I have a close tie to that organization, because the Tennessee Titans used to be the Houston Oilers, who I played with, and when they moved them to Tennessee, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't call them. Thank you, the Tennessee Oilers, but they're the Tennessee Titans. And so we had a reunion, as I spoke of a while back, a few weeks ago, and so you kind of think. So I played in the backfield with, and speaking from an organizational standpoint, there's a natural comparison between Derrick Henry and Earl Campbell. Size, power backs. And so, when I went to the game, I was interested and very eager to watch Derrick Henry up close. in person and see how he runs in comparison to Earl. Now, I'm sitting in a suite with the rest of my former teammates who also played with Earl, and I anticipated, old school guys, you get to a certain age, he's good to play. He's not good as Earl. No, to a man, when Derrick Henry got the ball, we all just kind of, he's special. He's a very good player, and he's a very talented, skillful running back. Not just a big guy who's got brute strength, won the DNA lottery, and just bowls everybody over, which he can do. He's got running skill. And to have that running skill in that kind of body is super scary.
They were showing his workouts last night.
I saw that.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Braylon looked like you.
No. I never took it to that level. Maybe that's why I'm sitting up here with you guys. The other thing about watching Derrick Henry is you would think for his size, whenever we show Derrick Henry, when you're not showing him run 96 yards or 76 yards, you're showing him throw Josh Norman out of bounds. You're showing him stiff arm a whole D lineman yesterday. You know how hard it is to stiff arm a safety?
That was ridiculous.
A linebacker, let alone a D lineman. You're seeing that. So in your mind, you're like, he could run anybody over. He should always be trucking. He should always be running guys over. My dad and I were talking about this off air, and that's not what he does. If you watch him, he's the first running back I've seen at his size that takes his time and is patient with holes. Usually when you talk about a running back being patient, you're talking about a Le'Veon Bell. You're talking about a Saquon when he's healthy. You're talking about guys of that caliber. They're patient. Ezekiel Elliott, he's patient. He finds it. He follows his blocking. Derrick Henry at 6'4", 250 is the same way, but has the same skill level to do so. He's patient. He's not trying to be an 8-year back. He's not trying to have an Eddie George career. He's not trying to, I was really good 4 or 5 years and all of a sudden, because once that first injury happens, or once that first season where you get nicked and banged and dinged, they start to decline rapidly. He's not trying to do that. He's picking, he's choosing, he's going down, or he's getting out of here for a home run.
Yeah, and I hate when I can't think of a player's name or his number, but I think his number is 23. He's a free safety for the Bills, and they showed that Derrick had a nice run.
Micah Hyde.
Yeah.
Hey, he made a business decision.
Oh
my God. Hey, my heart's made. Yeah. My heart goes to him.
Give him credit. He brought him down.
Yeah.
But what was funny is the mental aspect that Micah Hyde had after that. Right after play, he jumped up and kind of bounced around like, I'm still alive.
Pump your chest out.
Yeah.
Right?
He gave his body up.
Just think of what that decision process had to be. And Micah Hyde, in that split instant,
he's like,
where you're looking. Because, for him, it probably felt like a million years. For us, it was a quick second. Yeah. But he was like, oh, shoot, here he comes. He's coming. What do I do? I'm on national TV. I can't punk out. I can't do it. He might kill me. Hell, here we go. All that went through his head, man. That was a hell of a decision.
That's a touchdown without that.
Speaking of hell,
could have been a touchdown with it.
Speaking of hell of a decision, what about the end of the game?
I loved it.
It was there it was right there. It was a great call.
Again, when you don't get it, you open yourself up to be criticized.
You do.
4th and 1, end of the game. How do you not go for it?
Right.
How do you, like, you're down by 3? How do you not? You're the freaking Buffalo Bills. You're the best team in the AFC. How do you not go for that?
And like I said off camera, I am an absolute huge fan of Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
Big time.
He is one of the quiet, well-deserved top coaches in the game because he's brought that franchise up to a level and a consistently high level on both sides of the ball in all 3 phases of the game. But still, there's always something that's going to show you that you're not quite elite just yet. They absolutely should not have lost that game last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Tennessee's pretty good.
If you talk about how they lost that game, it's because the defense of the Tennessee Titans, they played a bend but don't break mindset yesterday. Yeah, they gave up some points. You look at that secondary. Yeah, they got handled. Emmanuel Sanders got off. Cole Beasley got off. A.J. Brown. Not A.J. Brown, but Stefon Diggs.
Oh, I love
Stefon
Diggs.
Diggs finally had a game. He finally has more touchdowns than his brother, who plays defense. So they got handled. But in those situations early in the first half and even once in the second half, right when they were rolling down the field, and you talk about this all the time, the 20-20, that Tennessee Titans defense showed up when they had to, and they held them to those important field goals, man. Harold Landry and Simmons, they are monsters.
I got 2 points to make. One going back to the coach. There are 32 NFL head coaches in the National Football League, 4th in less than a yard, essentially with the game on the line. I think 30 of 30, and probably 30. All 32 coaches go for it in that spot. With a game on the line, like that's weight room, locker room
not Mike
stuff.
McCarthy.
I don't know what the hell he might have punted.
That's why I said 30 of 32. He might have punted.
Speaking of,
can I ask you this question before that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Every time I watch Stefon Diggs, and last night I was glued to the guy because I love Stefon Diggs. He is so wide open every time. There's really very few tough catches he has to make. How does he get so open?
So I'm going to go back to what I was going to say before that, because mine is quick and I can answer that from a receiver's point of view. What I was going to say about the 4th and 1, when you watch these 4th and 1s and all these people that are going for it this year, and you watch, Mike McCarthy, whatever the hell he was doing last week, you look at Josh Allen falling down and not getting it. Doesn't it just make you appreciate Tom Brady just that much more? Tom Brady never doesn't get it on 4th and 1. I think he's averaging something like 2.5 yards on 4th round on sneaks, on QB sneaks. But if you had Tom Brady, that's a touchdown. But getting back to your question, is because he's tricky. Like, not only is he arguably the best route runner in the NFL, now arguably is he one of the fastest receivers at the number 1 position in the NFL. He is aggressive. He is aggressive. He doesn't play as a little man wide receiver. He doesn't play as I'm just a real good route runner. I'm going to get your hands off me. I'm scared. He tries to punk DBs. He talks all the smack in the world. Get your hands off me. It's not that he's faster than them and quicker than them. They're scared of him because not only is he that good, he's physical at every part of the game, blocking, running routes, and just everything that he does. He's very physical, very aggressive.
I think he's a top 10 receiver in the league. He's not top 5 in my book. And probably my criticism of him is he's a very good receiver, but his talent is an elite great receiver, and he doesn't play at that level all the time. So I struggle with putting him in the top 5 category of receivers in the NFL. It's not what you said. But I think he's a good receiver. I still think he has more to give, and I'd be glad when he grows up and start to give it.
He's not even in the top 25 this year. I mean, he's having a down
He's having a tough year.
He
is.
They also playing jump coverage on him. They add Emmanuel Sanders, and they have Cole Beasley, so they don't have to go to him all the time. Last year, he led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns. They don't have to go to him now because you got Emmanuel Sanders, who's arguably the best number 2 wide receiver in the last 15 years.
You don't have to go to Mike Evans. You don't have to go to...
And they don't. They go to AB. They go to Godwin.
I love that guy. I just love that guy, man.
They go to AB. They go to Godwin.
You don't have to go to Keenan Allen. You don't have to go to D. Hopkins, but they do.
He's still 1,600 yards last year, led the league. He still led the league in touchdowns receiving last year over D. Hop.
Maybe part of my love for Diggs so much is that I love the Buffalo Bills.
That's probably it.
I just... Everything about that team, they're fun. Yep. They'll punch you in the mouth. They can throw the ball. It's exciting. They play defense. Now, I know they lost last night in a wild one, 34-31, but it's just a fun, good team to watch.
That is the closest team to a college team in the NFL that is. Everything about it seems really, really collegiate. And it's fun to be around.
Together.
Yeah,
like it seems together. Like, to be honest, they almost did everything right last night. The only thing they did wrong is having to play Derrick Henry. Like, if this is most teams, that's a win. If they're playing most teams in the NFL, that's a win last night. They played Derrick Henry, and there it is.
The Titans are good.
No,
where's their weakness on offense?
Ryan Tannehill.
That's it. If he just manages a freaking game, who wants to play against that offense?
Their cornerbacks, like Jerry's Bird is a great safety, or a really good safety. Their cornerbacks and Ryan Tannehill are their weak link.
Here's another weak link for you, and you call me out for it if you want. I think Julio Jones is a weak link for them.
What happened to him?
He's always got some sort of nick or something that keeps him from his best. And I feel like when a guy like Julio Jones is out there, the quarterback feels like you got to force the ball in there or you got to get the ball to him. That's why I think that's a weak link for the Tennessee Titans.
He's always got something. Yeah, what he always has is plays. Like Julio Jones has 1,000 yards in 10 games on Monday Night Football history. He has 12 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. And that's just Monday Night Football. Yes, he has a lot of nicks because he's 6'5", and they're always throwing the boys up, jump kind of like Calvin. But he's still playing.
I'm not talking about his career. He asked me about this year.
A.J. Brown got off yesterday. You didn't have to pass.
Well, the thing for me, and I'm similar to you, Ryan, with Julio Jones is he does just enough jaw-dropping plays every so often for you to say, well, he still got it.
Yeah, like last night, the interference.
Exactly.
The interference one.
As soon as it went out, they say out of bounds. I said, no, I think he got it.
I did that right away.
And hopefully Taylor Lewan's okay too.
Yeah, he gave a thumbs up. I do want to get. I promised Stan Edwards comment on the Michigan State Spartans and the Wolverines game coming up in a week and a half. We'll do that next. College football, Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Start a new career in an industry that is always essential. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Talking about the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. northwesterntech.edu.
So the big one coming up in about a week and a half from now, Michigan State versus Michigan. It will be a 12 p.m. game on Fox. Here, before we get a thought on this, let me help you out with this because I did a little bit more research on this. And I want to thank Matt Charbonneau, too, for the tweet. He initiated the clarification, and then I got the confirmation. So the way the Big Ten schedule works with Fox and ABC, Fox gets first. You look at the schedule before Fox gets first game, ABC gets second game. Fox gets third game, ABC gets fourth game. And you go down the row. So you're picking games. Obviously, Michigan-Ohio State is the number one Big Ten game of the year, no matter what the records are. So Fox already picked that one.
Right.
This ABC game was picked Ohio State, Penn State. ABC picked this. So ABC picked this Ohio State, Penn State game as the marquee game of the week for them. So that goes to the night game. Fox gets next pick. They pick Michigan State. That night, World Series Game 4. Can't put it on at night. They also have the UCLA-Oregon game that day. You're not going to make the UCLA-Oregon game the noon game and put Michigan State the 3:30 game. So that is why it's a noon. There weren't very many options other than that noon slot. So I just want to get that out there as well. And for all the people that don't like the noon slot, I love the noon slot.
Good job, buddy. That was well explained.
Why can't you do it at 3:30 again?
Because UCLA is
so
on.
If you do noon, that comes on 9 out there.
Yeah.
9 a.m. out there.
I mean, and you're not going to start a game at 9 a.m. local time.
No, I get that. Why couldn't they put them at night?
Because the World Series Game 4 is on at night.
Got it.
You're not going to move that to a noon game.
Well, it's Fox.
Yeah.
They could have been on Channel 7. They could have been on ABC, though.
No, ABC
They already chose
Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
So, I mean, it makes you less mad a little bit, doesn't it?
I'm good. I'll watch everything.
Yeah. I said yesterday, Stan, that I think the noon kick, though, does help Michigan a little bit as the road team to go to get the game over with. You're not sitting there under the lights. I think playing at Happy Valley or at Iowa at night at Ohio State.
Not to mention you give the fans a chance to get a little more
at night.
Sauced up.
There's something a little extra for the road team under the lights.
What I think helped Michigan is playing Northwestern the week before.
Yeah.
Because, again, Jim Harbaugh has not done a very good job of managing his bye week. So to get a game under their belt before they go into East Lansing, I think is critically important, and not overlooking Northwestern. I think they'll beat Northwestern. How they play Northwestern is going to be, to me, tantamount to how Michigan State beat Indiana. just get by. If they squeak by Northwestern, I'm actually 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I do know that they've been looking at this October 30th game. They be in Michigan, looking at the October 30th Michigan State game for weeks and weeks and weeks. So they're looking forward to them. They're trying to get past Northwestern and to get ready for them. So I think that the noon game is secondary for me, but the most important thing for them is to get back in the rhythm that they were in, to go 6-0 before they played Michigan State.
I will say that I think there is no such thing as ugly wins in the month of October or at any point in the college football season right now. However,
unless you're Liberty.
Unless you're Liberty.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, right. Cincinnati's got
They got it all blowouts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do think, though, I feel a little bit better about the Michigan State game after seeing Indiana kind of provide the blueprint to stop Kenneth Walker and, Naylor and Reed and Thorne. Indiana probably should have won that game.
Yeah, Indiana. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So I got a little bit concerned about Michigan's chances against Michigan State because of what Michigan State did in Indiana. Indiana doesn't have their top quarterback there, but they are a good football team. And Michigan State has been looking to October 30th, to play Michigan. They went into Indiana not ready to play and won. And that's what good teams do. They weren't ready. They didn't care about Indiana. They care about beating Michigan. And they went into Indiana thinking about Michigan, and they still won. So I'm saying, okay, they got that in, they probably say, okay, we got by those guys. Yep. Now we want them to come and get to the woodshed, because we've been waiting for them a long time, because we really do not like the folks in Ann Arbor.
Michigan's favored by 23.5 this week.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Michigan State wasn't looking to Michigan when they were playing Nebraska, and they had the same offensive output that they did this past week against Indiana. I think what happens is when Peyton Thorne, who's been one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten when he's on, when Peyton Thorne can't just operate how he wants to, and he can throw the ball to Kenneth Walker for 200 yards, and then he can get the team off balance that he's playing in defense, keep them off balance, a little play action here, a little run here on first down. Oh, you know what? Change of possession or sudden change, throw a ball up to Naylor, to Reed. When he has to really become a quarterback, he struggles a little bit. And I think that's what Indiana did. They did the same thing that Nebraska did to him. Make him become a quarterback, make him beat you. Tighten up that box, 8 men in the box, and take Kenneth Walker out of it. Now, Kenneth Walker still had 81 yards. So it's not like we're talking about he had 30 yards or 40 yards. He still had 84 yards, 84 yards. But you made Peyton Thorne beat you. I think that's the blueprint. They're a really good offense, but they're a little less good when you take Kenneth Walker out and you make Peyton become the guy to beat you and not Walker.
Yeah, let's be careful here now, because we're not talking about Northwestern, and that game is yet to be played.
Yep.
So we need to make sure that Michigan is prepared to beat Northwestern. Being favored by 23 is good, but we're still going down. No, they're not coming from Evanston. They're coming here. We still have to play them. I just hope we get back in the groove, and I anticipate seeing some rust in the first half of Michigan.
Yeah, I
agree.
Anytime you come off a bye, that probably is a little bit expected. I do want to make a point about Indiana. Indiana's 4 losses this year came against all 4 losses were against teams that were in the top 10 when Indiana played them. So they're no pushover. I mean, that's a pretty decent football team, and they're doing that without their starting quarterback too.
Yeah, too. And talking about the Northwestern game for the University of Michigan, Michigan's undefeated. But Michigan isn't an undefeated where they're at the level of just destroying teams, where you're looking at them like even in the 2016 team, the defense that they had with Jabril Peppers, and they had I can't think of Rashawn Gary, Maurice Hurst. You look at Worley was on that team. Like, they were world beaters on the defense, and then you look at Jordan Lewis is on that team, and then even on offense, they had Darbo, they had J.U. Chesson, like that, they had Jake Butt on that team. That team was a really good team all the way around. You look at that team and you're like, oh, it's just Northwestern. This Michigan team is offensive line has played pretty good this year. The running backs have played good in spurts. The defensive line has played really good. But they're not that team like that where you're like, oh, it's just Northwestern. Michigan, to my dad's point, they got to go win this game. They got to come and bring it.
Sure. And look, I mean, that's why you play the game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, does anybody fully expect Michigan at 6-0 to lose this game?
No.
Vegas don't.
So hold on, guys.
It's not lose.
It's only been 6 weeks, of good football and 15 to 20 years of what's going on in Ann Arbor. So I'm not want to get too far ahead of the game just because Northwestern does not have one of the top teams in the West this year. I'm a little bit concerned on if it gets to late in the third quarter and when Northwestern hasn't been put away, they'll start to grow up real fast.
Yeah.
And they'll like,
Don't worry about it.
We got to play good football for 15 or 20 minutes, and we can get out of here.
Stan, I already crowned Michigan Big Ten champs 4 months ago.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All righty.
Whoa.
What's Pat Fitzgerald?
Whoa there.
Hey, we all love Pat Fitzgerald.
there.
Right? Pat Fitzgerald. We all
I think
love
he's
him.
one of the
He won
most
the West last
overrated
year.
coaches.
Oh, you
I think
do?
he's one of the
Oh, I
most
think he's a
overrated
terrific
coaches
coach.
in college football.
What do you think he's telling his Northwestern boys?
Absolutely. They're overlooking you. They're looking to Michigan State.
You say
They
you
just
think he's
figure they can
I think
overrated?
he's
show up.
one of the most overrated.
You know how hard it
coaches.
is to get talent at Northwestern, like to fit your academic procedure as well as your athletic procedure.
Yeah, Ryan.
What he's
Right.
done at Northwestern, like he's done a really good job.
Pat
You
Fitzgerald,
got to give Pat Fitzgerald credit. Like he's done a really good job.
Yeah, I give him credit, but I mean, I just don't think he's like some be-all, end-all.
No, he's not be all end all, but
you know,
don't say he's
great.
overrated.
He is absolutely the perfect coach for that program.
Yeah, perfect coach for the program.
and he went there. Go figure.
Yeah, look at that.
They were talking about him going to the NFL a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he wishes he did now. After Michigan's gonna lay the
Layeth the smacketh down.
Right. Hey, Stan, you got any parting words of wisdom for us?
Yeah, Lions fans, it's hard to, as these weeks start to pile up, to kind of turn your back on the team. We got to give them at least to about another 4 or 5 games to really see has this team had some market improvement, or we really need to start scratching our head in the offseason and really, really hold Brad Holmes accountable for what this next draft is going to look like. That's going to be critical.
Question. Stan Edwards joins us every Tuesday here. We certainly appreciate his time here on Woodward
Sessions
Sports.
with Stan.
Look at that. Now
Sessions with Stan.
you better go talk to Mike Broadwell, have him sell that.
add a little stipend in that pocket.
There you go.
All right, Stan Edwards, thanks so much. We're coming right back.
All right,
Man, chill out. And including one, I don't know what I'm going to have chill out about this, but I saw this. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to let you know what that is next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, gang, I want to let you know about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, and we all know that offense is great, but defense, they win championships. Don't you want to be the championship defender of your home? If you want to do that, we all want to do that. You got to do something very simple. Just call Guardian Alarm. They've been in business for over 90 years, and they can help you feel safe. 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control your lights and your temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock your doors. Again, okay, here it is. All you got to do, say, I am going to go home today and be a champion.
Yes, sir.
And
I am the champion of my castle.
Championship defender of my castle. And the way you do that, you call this number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out of my house.
Guardian Alarm, your local security expert for over 90 years. This has been a couple of days since we've had the full team in the house.
This is true.
Me, you, and Maz, of course. Alex Mayer, the great Alex Mayer,
Art and
back
Fish.
with us.
Yeah, he's back.
Fresh
He's
off
over
his
there.
trip to Arlington, Texas, visiting with some family. Alex, how'd it go over there?
It was good. Arlington's a cool city. We watched a lot of football. My grandpa, that's who I was visiting, just watches football all day long, and I had no problem with that. So it was a good trip.
Now, are you from Texas?
No, I'm from Michigan. It's just that like my mom's side of the family is a little complicated, and they had a lot of other people move over.
We
to that
all
Texas
got
area.
complications.
Yeah,
we do.
Art is in the house. Fish is here as well. Art, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
You doing good today?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there.
Good, looking good today.
Yeah, thank you.
As
He's got
always.
some new sounds in there, man. I looked at that the sound machine on that laptop. He got some sounds for us,
A
man.
little at a time.
Art's working hard for us. All right, gang. It is the
They're called
time of the
bids.
show. Maz is working hard too. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good,
I don't
man.
want you to feel left out now.
No, I'm not left out. We had to move the furniture around.
Good.
There it is. Not always supposed to be in a good mood.
All right, gang. Here we go. It is the time of the show that we like to call Man.
Chill out.
Chill, buddy.
Pack your bags, get the hell off. Now, do you understand what you did?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
So this is not going to fit this segment. I fully know that, and I want to
Let's make it fit.
I want to make it clear that this does not fit this segment. But I saw this, and I had to get this in, and this is where I get this in.
All right.
Tonight, the Detroit Red Wings will play a hockey game, and the Detroit Red Wings will play against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ooh, little Michigan, Ohio action.
Ooh, there you go.
All
Get
right.
that in there.
7:30 puck drop.
Do you know they've been around for 25 years?
The Columbus Blue Jackets. Wow, isn't that something?
Unreal.
It is crazy. Time flies, man.
I went to a game. I think that's one of the things I did when we first got drafted by Cleveland Browns. Like we went down there as rookies. I don't know why they made the rookies go, and it was like 5 people in the arena, like in their preseason. But here we are now.
So, for the first time in 107 games, the Detroit Red Wings are favored to win a hockey game. Can you believe that? The Red Wings are a favorite to win a hockey game tonight. I cannot believe that they've been the underdog the last 107 times they've taken the ice.
That's like a season and 1/3 of another season.
So that streak breaks tonight. They're favored against the Blue Jackets. So I say to the NHL schedule makers, man, chill out. I don't know who to say it to.
Say it to the Red Wings.
Say it to the Red Wings for stinking so long.
Yeah,
exactly.
Red Wings, chill out for stinking so long. But I'm telling you, you're probably not going to do much hockey on this show. But
we got a segment coming up.
In spots, we will hit on the Detroit Red Wings.
As long as we're talking about Bertuzzi and Dylan Larkin, I'm all in, baby.
Right. That's it. That's all I got.
I'll do it. Want me to go? Or you want to go?
I went last yesterday. You go last. I'll go last. My man, chill out, is none other than Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, who reported early because once he found out that he'd be missing $350,000, he said, you know what? I got to get my butt to practice. So yesterday, at the Philadelphia 76 practice, as they're practicing, Ben Simmons is kind of aloof. He's practicing with jogging pants on, which I don't mind. I don't mind the jogging pants because, it's a trend, it's a fashion. But if you notice in his pocket, something in his right pocket, what is that? Ladies and gentlemen, that is a cell phone. Practicing with a cell phone before the season actually takes off, I believe, tonight.
I think he's waiting for his agent to call.
He's waiting for his agent to say, you have officially been traded. You don't do this. You see Sam Cassell on the side. You're practicing. He's out of it. See, here's the thing. Him and the cell phone in his pocket is the thing that I have a problem with. Like, you're a professional. You take the phone out of your pocket. One, what if it breaks? Now you really feel like an idiot. But take the phone out of your pocket. I remember when we used to have walkthroughs the day before games or, the last day of practice, which is on Friday. I remember we used to come out in Timberlands and flip-flops. And I remember Romeo Cornell, and it happened with Rex Ryan too, would tell us, everybody get in there, put on some sneakers, at least sneakers or cleats. Be professional. Be professional. Ben, I understand everything that is going on with you and the 76ers. They tried to trade you for James Harden. They tried to trade you again this year. They made it public. They don't think they can win with you. They trolled you. Yes, your own organization trolled you for your play in the playoffs. Everybody has a bad playoffs. I don't know if that bad, but everybody has a bad playoff. Joel Embiid, the other star on your team, who at one point they wanted you over him, but now they want him over you. I understand that, and you will be moved. But while you are there, Got to be professional. Because other people are watching. Other GMs, other organizations, other players that you might play with. So you got to protect your next step. It's always about the next move. So to Ben Simmons, with the cell phone in his pocket waiting for his agent to say, you've officially been traded, I say, man, chill out.
And you know what, Braylon? The NBA gets started tonight. I think about,
the Bucks versus the Nets tonight.
I was trying to put myself in these situations somehow. Allow me the time to do that.
Go ahead.
I think about Ben Simmons, and I'm like, okay, I can have the problem with the organization all I want, but man, these are my brothers here, like my teammates. I'm gonna
some of them are.
I'm gonna disrespect them by doing this.
Yeah.
There's one thing about, we talk about being a bad teammate. This is horrific behavior from a player that you consider one of your brothers.
Yeah, and you just wonder. Because when you have to draw a line in the sand. So when comments are made by Joel Embiid, like you have 2 stars on that team. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have Tobias Harris, who's a really good shooter, really good player. But he's not on the level of those 2 guys. And you have Danny Green, who's not on that level. You have Joel Embiid and you have Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid comes out and makes a bunch of comments about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons sees it like, oh, that's how you feel? Okay. Now you have to pick sides. It's like, am I going to be a Joel guy? Am I going to be a Ben guy? And you just wonder how that locker room got divided down the middle. You wonder what side of guys on. Who was reaching out to Ben Simmons after the playoffs and during the playoffs? Who was reaching out to Joel Embiid? And you just wonder that. And that definitely adds to the level of I don't care by Ben Simmons.
Well, look what happened today. Because Doc Rivers told him, hey, Ben, I need you in this defensive sequence. Ben's like, no. Then he waits a second. He's like, Ben, I need you in this. Ben says no. Doc looks at him and says, go home. The kid drops the ball and walks off. And he's been suspended for a game now, for a day at least. It's opening night. He's not going to be there with his team.
Ben Simmons.
There's something wrong. It's you got to do something. You got to trade the kid.
Got to trade him or tell him to stay home.
Ben Simmons is the walking embodiment of I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Chill out.
Talk about
Ben.
screwing your teammates. We talk about Kyrie. What's worse? What's worse? Telling your coach go to hell?
Yeah, but you're talking about the same coach who didn't say he could win with Ben Simmons. You're talking about the same guy that told other press. He told the media when they asked, "Hey Doc, do you feel you can win championship with Ben Simmons?" Doc said, "I don't know." Like, even if that's how you felt, that's not the answer you give as a coach. So in Ben Simmons' mind, he's like, hey,
I don't blame the kid
Doc
either.
said the hell with me, so I'm going to say the hell with him. Just take the cell phone out of the pocket is a problem that I have.
Amen. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. NBA starts tonight. Pistons get going tomorrow night against the Bulls.
Cade Cunningham.
Hey, I got one for you. This happened on Sunday. It's the Browns and the Arizona Cardinals. That's Braylon's team.
Yes, sir.
Watch
Best team in the
Kyler Murray.
league.
Kyler Murray running for his life here. Let's watch this.
Make sure you talk over the video.
We're not playing it. We're just watching. The video. This is roughing the passer, folks. Look at this joke of a referee calling this roughing the passer. Ready for this? Take a peek. Here he
Just
goes.
pushes him, right?
Yep, Jackson, just a little push. Kyler doesn't even go down. That's roughing the passer? What are you out of your mind? That's roughing the passer. So, anyway, Browns had a bad day that day. Add that on as well. That's a terrible call. NFL, man, chill out.
Yeah, so there you have it. Chill out, NFL. They got to figure out taunting. They got to figure out roughing the passer. They got to figure out really pass interference to him.
I feel like this, man. I feel like in 10 years, and we talked about this, Maz, before I left.
Flag football.
I'm telling you, in 10 years, it's going to be two-hand touch on the quarterback. Everybody else is going to be tackled. It's going to be two-hand touch on the football.
I watched the Powder Puff game last night between my girls at Lakeview and the girls at Lakeshore. Great game, by the way.
Those games are always good.
I never had a better time at a football game than watching last night. Lakeview won again. That's a bunch in a row now for the Lakeview Huskies. And my girl Abby was the center. Great snapping ability.
Man, we love it.
My sister Jade played Powder Puff, I think her senior year at Wall Lake Western, and some of those leagues they tackle. Like, it's just a legit thing. Sometimes they pass interference. I'm glad I didn't have big brothers growing up because I taught her how to play football. She was a stud.
All my friends were like, Maz, she's great. What a snapper. I'm like, she comes from a long line of snappers. My wife snaps at me all the time.
And I'm sure you do a fair amount of snapping too. Good job, man.
Speaking of snapping, what about these Michigan State fans, man?
Oh man,
Speaking of snapping,
Braylon will respect. I love this Barstool Spartans, these Barstool Spartans people. I love them. We got to get them on the show. Can we get them on the show?
Realistically,
I mean, I love these guys.
Yeah. How many do you want?
I mean, but I think there's one or two that run the site. I think there's one or two that run the site. I love these guys.
You can have like a spokesman. You can have
Seriously.
one or two spokesmen.
I mean, it's great. We'll talk about the Barstool Spartans attack on the Ermanni and Edwards program.
Woodward Sports Network.
Again.
The bottom line.
Again.
Papa Romano's has a pizza that is pleased to meet you. The Pizza Pizza is a sizzling deal and fully loaded with pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, and bacon. Get a large Pizza for $16.99 at paparomanos.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
For Legacy Partners Insurance. Yes, your insurance stinks. Mine's better than yours. That's because I went with Legacy. Thanks, Art, for putting my mic on. Legacy Partners Insurance. We really appreciate it if you would try them out.
Thanks, Matt, for unmuting it.
They're an independent. It's unmuted, Art. They're an independent agent, and they know what they're doing. The local agent that knows the local insurance markets, they have the carriers shop for you. So give them a call. You got nothing to lose. It's a free call. It's a free try. 586-209-4106 or go online to legacypartnersins.com/Woodward Sports. Fill out that little information they ask you for. It'll take you a minute. Someone from Team Maz at Legacy Partners will get in touch with you. I'll tell you what we'll do for you. Just for trying them out, we will enter you for a chance to win a $50 gift card to Amazon or Kroger. How about that? Just for trying them out, you'll be in it. We draw a winner each month. Legacy Partners Insurance. Tell them Maz at Woodward Sports sent you.
All right, gang, hour number 2 of the program. Thanks so much. You're listening to the Ermanni and Edwards Woodward Sports Network. We call it the bottom line.
Yes, we do.
Braylon, would you like to just take it from here a little bit and kind of characterize what went on yesterday? Yeah. Fill people in on a little bit of making points and things like that.
Yeah, yesterday,
sarcasm font.
Yesterday we were talking about Michigan State being 6-0 as well as Michigan. We were talking about the game potentially in 2 weeks, and just kind of going around and around about what Michigan is, what Michigan State is. And I asked the question after watching the game against Indiana. I said, I was just thinking about this. Name somebody on defense for Michigan State.
Cannot do it.
Now, obviously, Jacob Penishuk, we know that. Like, we know who he is, 45 pressures, leads the country. We know that. But played a bunch of average offensive lines and quarterback. But nonetheless, he leads the country.
Magic Johnson knows a couple of guys.
There you go.
I mean, he's tweeting about him.
Exactly.
But Cal Halliday.
And I'm just thinking, and I meant it in the sense of, their offense is really good. I've talked about their offense. In fact, I've talked about their team all year. Michigan State fans, Barstool included. Who was the guy that said Kenneth Walker was a legit Heisman Trophy candidate when somebody around here said he wasn't? Who was the guy that said?
Are you calling me out now?
I didn't say it was you. I didn't say it was you. I said, who was the guy that said Michigan State was a legit contender early on in the year? Actually, I think I said they were better than Michigan early on in the year. Who's the guy that said these things? Who's the guy that said they were going to blow Miami out at the beginning of the year? Oh, yeah, it's this guy. This guy over here. I don't approach the Michigan State gang or their team from a Michigan point of view because I went to Michigan. I'm an analyst. I call it how I see it. In fact, so much so that I was fired by Big Ten Network from a tweet in which I went after Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Went after them, the first guy to do it. And now since everybody has done it since, so I'll take claim for that. That's not who I am. I'm a guy that calls down the middle. And what I see is I see a great offense in Michigan State when they can run the ball, much like offenses I've seen in the past. But in those past Michigan State offenses, I've seen defensive players emerge to the front. You look at 2015. You look at Cook, Burbridge, and L.J. Shelton. darn good Michigan State offense. You also look at Bullard, Nicholson, Harrison, Calhoun. Great defensive players on that team. You look at 2017. Bocce Jr., Willikis, Willis, the Dow brothers. They were they were actually led the way for that team. But they were an amazing compliment to Lewerke, LJ Scott, Davis, and Stewart. That team actually let me down because that was the first team in Michigan State history to return 22 starters. And then you saw what they did in 18. So with that being said, I don't approach it as I care about Michigan State. I'm taking shots because I went to Michigan. I'm approaching it from a logistical, factual, analytical standpoint. 1,000%. That is all. When you think of 6-0 contenders, or you think of teams that have went the test of time, from Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Clemson, offense and the defense. Offense and the defense. And I haven't seen the emergence of defensive players for Michigan State. Now, I know you guys got some players on that team.
Just admit you hate Xavier Henderson.
No, Xavier Henderson, I saw the one interception against Youngstown State. I saw that. There are some other players on that team that are showing me something, but I would like a little more from at Youngstown State.
I'm playing with you, Braylon.
Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. I want to see more. And then I also heard that this is now locker room material, that this is circulating around the locker room, and the players are like, oh, we can't wait to play.
Yeah?
We're going to hurt somebody. If it took me and my comment about you guys haven't had emerging players to get you riled up, I'm all for it.
Yeah, baby.
I'm all for it. I'm glad I riled you up. Because while you're taking that break, Michigan's coming. Michigan's coming. But I digress a little bit, and I want you to know this. I am a professional, and I do my job. Pay attention to all of the segments, because I didn't see Mel Tucker using my comments about Kenneth Walker being a Heisman Trophy candidate in his locker room.
I don't think he is.
I didn't see them talk about me saying that they were better than Michigan earlier in the year. They didn't
think
post
they're that either.
So don't post all this stuff. And then to the Michigan State fans who are chomping the wood.
Here we go.
Here chomping the wood and blah, 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 blah. Michigan State players, don't forget, this same Michigan State fan base, they were talking stuff about Mel Tucker last year. They wanted him fired last year.
LSU's next coach.
Before the Michigan game last year, you guys were using racial slurs. Some of you, not all of you. You were using racial slurs. You wanted him fired. Say he was a horrible coach. Michigan State was a horrible talent. You said all that. And then they beat Michigan and things changed. And now all of a sudden they're 6-0, and it's like, chopping the wood. Michigan State players, don't forget what that fan base said about you. Play for yourselves, and not what the fan base says on Twitter.
7-0.
Can't name one. Can't name one.
So,
Alex, go ahead. Put your
Who's
mic
the
on.
coach?
Are you hearing this? Why would we ever give our coach racial slurs after one loss?
That's right.
Why?
It's coming.
What do you mean one loss last year? This is before they beat Michigan last year. I didn't say it was
Before
you. Everything is on Twitter. Do your own research. Last year there were racial slurs said about Mel Tucker. I know him personally, and I saw those racial slurs. They were on Twitter.
I didn't see him. I'm sorry.
And that's why I said I wasn't attacking you. It wasn't you. I know you didn't do it.
And I don't believe that we did. I don't believe that we would have attacked our coach.
Who is we, though?
The opening
Who is we?
Michigan State fans.
There are a ton of idiots on Twitter, Alex. You're not one of them. There are a ton of idiots on Twitter, and they don't represent all. You said what? There are a ton of idiots on Twitter that you don't represent, not at all, and they don't necessarily represent all of the Michigan State fan base. But I'm just saying, you cannot always trust fans on Twitter and social media sites, because there's no way to prove who they are. They'll say any dumb thing.
I will say this. I don't know how to say that Grouch guy's first name.
Quavaris?
From Tennessee?
Yeah.
The transfer from Tennessee?
Yeah, I don't know how to say him.
Braylon knew that because I told him before the show today.
No, I didn't. I did know he was a transfer because he was a Gatorade Player of the Year in South Carolina, so relax.
Man, chill out, Alex.
High school Player of the Year.
Look at that.
I told you I do my research.
Look that up after I told you.
Everybody happy now?
I didn't look it up after you told me. I knew that. You told me about Halliday, and you told me about Crouch. Henderson.
And Henderson, yeah.
You told me about Henderson.
All these guys are just so cute.
But I still had to look it up though. Except for Jacob.
Alex, where's your college football focus?
So cute.
Cut that you sent us. Put it up.
Okay, give me a second.
Put the cut up.
Dude, are we serious?
Defend yourself.
Like, do you seriously think like that? We like the Michigan State football players?
No.
Care what we say?
No.
Like, do they need that?
No.
Baz?
It don't hurt them. It don't hurt them. I mean, anything to get an edge, man. Anything to get. If they're hearing the great Braylon Edwards, the leader, still on this day for Michigan,
143 years of Michigan football.
But he's still the best receiver ever.
If
they were hearing him talk smack, maybe they are paying
but
attention.
Then also, like, even when I played, when I was in college and in the NFL, like, certain things are just comments. Like me saying, like, yeah, man, who's on their defense? Like, that's not me saying, yo, that defense is trash. There's some bums. There's some scrubs.
Well, it's look. Everybody does. Here's what they want to hear. That things are taken out of context. How many times on this show over the last, we've only been together for 2 months, but how many times on this show do we say the phrases, "Cannot do it," and "How do you know?"
Yeah.
If you listen to the show at all for an extended period of time, granted we've only been together, like, these are things that have been, mentioned or talked about on our show at least once or twice a show. Cannot do it. We just talked about the Mike
Singletary.
Can't name one. Cannot do it.
Can't win with him. Can't win without him.
These are variations of things that we say. Look at your boy. Most quarterback pressures this season. You like that, don't you, Alec? Against Western Kentucky. That's very nice. All right, gang.
All Alex was saying is, you're making fun of Michigan State's schedule. Look at Michigan's as well.
We're not talking about Michigan's schedule. We're not talking about Michigan.
But I never talked about
Michigan.
Michigan.
You talk about Hutchinson.
This guy
What happened was when he said that, and I was basically saying, who do you have? And I know they have Jacob Panishuk, but he posted it up, and he said, oh, well, look where Hutchinson is. I said, you haven't played anybody. Like, he can't, like, and then he says, well, why isn't Hutchinson up top of Panishuk if they haven't played anybody either? That's because when you come into a season as an All-American, preseason All-American, teams tend to know about you. And what happens is teams tend to rotate to you because they want to take you out of the game. So he's seeing a lot of double coverages. He's seeing a lot of chips. He's seeing a lot of double teams. And that's why you see Ojabo is getting off. When LeBron gets double teamed, other players on the team score. That's it. When the running game is good, when you play Derrick Henry, and everybody says, we got to put 10 in the box against Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown has the pleasure of getting off. When you go against Stefon Diggs and you put everybody on Stefon Diggs in the secondary because he's that good, well, Cole Beasley is wide open, which you saw yesterday, 9 times wide open. It's called when a player is really good and people know about him, they tend to double team, and that's what's happening to Hutchinson. Don't worry, Jacob Panishuk will get double teamed when he sees better teams that can have somebody help out, such as Penn State, such as Michigan, such as Ohio State.
I'm trying to wrestle in my mind if I want to make this next statement.
Oh, go ahead.
Light it up!
Because I'm not really sure, but I have a feeling if the season gets played out the way that I believe the season will get played out, oh, the hell with it. I'm going to make this statement.
Yes, there we go.
You want to do it after the break?
Yes. Ermanni and Edwards.
That's a good setup. Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Papa Romano's has something new. It is a pizza that is pleased to meet you. Introducing the new Meatza Pizza. That's right, Meatza. Sounds good, right? Check this out, man. Pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef. Oh, man, fresh blend of cheeses, bacon. Art, there it is. Bacon with a fresh blend of cheeses. That's right, baby. It's the Meatza Pizza. Get a large for $16.99. If you want one, just go to paparomanos.com. Get yourself one. Opa.
Okay, here you go. Pile on. Enjoy it.
Here
Put this on your video.
Okay, let's mark the time. Got it.
Seriously, and
locked and loaded.
And here's why: if you did it today, it wouldn't work at all like this. But if the season plays out the way I anticipate the season playing out,
right?
And look, I believe Michigan is going to win the rest of their games, win the Big Ten championship, and be in the college football playoff. That's just what I believe. Call me crazy, whatever you want to do.
I'll call you crazy. I just disagree with you on one game.
And that's fine.
No.
Maybe they lose at Penn State.
No.
Okay? Maybe they lose at Penn State.
No.
Whatever. Okay, fine. Just
I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
And I still believe that the Michigan State Spartans are going to lose 4 games this year.
Yeah.
I think they lose to Michigan. I think they lose at Purdue. I think they lose against Ohio State.
I'll take that bet.
And I think they lose to Penn State.
I'll bet against you.
I'm not going to bet. I'm not a betting man.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
You can have a friendly bet.
One day at a time here, Maz.
Hey, progress is a slow process.
Thank you. So I will say, based on that,
right.
Okay, I think when it's all said and done, Aiden Hutchinson will have more Heisman votes than Kenneth Walker. I think, and I'm not saying Aiden Hutchinson is going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
But when it's all said and done, if you look at an unbeaten Michigan team or a one-loss Michigan team that is on the verge of a college football playoff, who's the best player on that team? It's Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's the best player on Michigan team for sure.
You know, this all is great with Kenneth Walker, and he's a great player. But there have been 3 running backs in the last 20 years to win the Heisman Trophy. 2 of those running backs won the national championship. They were on a national championship team. And one of those running backs lost in the national championship game. So, based on all of those factors, when it's all said and done, I think that Aiden Hutchinson will wind up with more Heisman Trophy votes than Kenneth Walker.
And that's not far-fetched. And the reason why I say that is...
Put that in your little video.
It's not far-fetched, Alex. Just let me finish. I just said it's not far-fetched, and the reason why I say that, if you look at the running backs that have been nominated for Heisman in the past 20 years, or the number of the running backs that have won, what do they have in common? They have ridiculous stat lines. Like if you look at Derrick Henry's stat line, Derrick Henry had 2,200 yards rushing, and then in the big games, Derrick Henry had 250. You know, their biggest rival, Alabama, is the LSU rivalry. He had 250 yards against LSU. He had 250 yards in the national championship game. He had 2. You look at Monty Ball, who was nominated for Wisconsin back in 2008, 2009, 2,000 yards rushing and 28 touchdowns. You look at Melvin Gordon, 2,500 yards and 28 touchdowns. You look at Christian McCaffrey, who a lot of people say got snubbed on his Heisman. He finished second. 2,300 yards rushing and 30 touchdowns at Stanford, or 25, somewhere around there. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of Toby Gerhart, who was before him. All these running backs have had 2,000 yards or 1,900 yards. You look at Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram was 1,700 yards with 20 touchdowns. You can't have 60 yards against Nebraska and 80 yards against Indiana, because it's not that many games. Like you got to legitimately average 150, 170. And when you have 80 at Indiana, and when you have 60 at Nebraska, and by the way, neither of those teams are ranked, it's tough to garner that national attention, especially when it's like a Michigan State, which I'm not trying to disrespect. Like all the teams that win the Heisman, it's all the big schools. It's the Clemsons, the Oklahomas, it's the Alabamas,
USC.
It's the I'm talking about like more recently.
More recently. Yeah, I went back. Like, it's going back 20 years.
It's these guys. Like to do something out of Michigan State, you got to do something special. And 60 yards against Nebraska and 80 yards against Indiana isn't special.
All right, so there you have it. Have fun with that one, guys. And look, again, who's Michigan's best player?
Aiden Hutchinson.
Do you think it's that, Maz? I want to get you involved in this.
Yeah.
Like, you think it's that far-fetched?
Yes.
If Michigan goes unbeaten and goes to the college football playoff.
Okay, are we talking about dream sequences here?
Okay, one-loss Michigan team.
Yeah, he's not getting any Heisman votes. No
0.
way. None.
All right.
Why wouldn't he?
We'll see.
I just don't think it happens.
Best player on one of the best teams, if that's how it works. Because it ain't going to be Cade McNamara. And Michigan's 2 running backs are.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah, I mean,
they're not going to take one of those 2 guys.
I get it.
They got no wide receivers.
They're more of a team than they are superstars.
Yeah, I mean,
they're more of a team.
Jadeveon Clowney finished 4th in the Heisman. Like, there's been some defensive players that have finished in the top 5, let alone get votes. You don't.
And I'm not saying you don't have to go
to. No. You don't have to go to New York to get votes. Like, I finished 7th in the Heisman. I was nowhere near New York, but you can get a vote. Anybody can get a vote.
I get it.
So to say he'll get some votes is
over Walker. I don't think so.
Oh no, see, that's different.
But that's what I'm saying. I think if Michigan loses 4 of the next 5 games, or excuse me, Michigan State loses 4 of the next 5 games, which I anticipate they do.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're gonna lose that. Look, I think they lose 3.
Okay, so that a guaranteed 3 losses.
Yeah, I think 3.
You know, I mean, and then if Purdue can go on the road and win at number 2 Iowa, you don't think they can win at home against Michigan State?
Iowa's offense is trash, though, man. And I said their offense was so fraudulent, and the difference is like Michigan State's offense is really good.
Hey, let's take it one week at a time here. Honestly, let's take some coach speak here.
But this is what we do.
But why do we have to do that?
We don't. You don't have to. You can do whatever you'd like.
I'm just saying.
You already got me playing against Purdue. They have a week off now, and they're playing Michigan. I want to see you play Michigan first. Then I'll talk to you about Purdue. I want to see
Michigan play Northwestern first.
And that's fine. See,
I would tell you this. Take the 23.5 this week. I'm going to tell you that right now.
But I don't have a problem with that.
Coming off a bye.
Please.
Right?
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I don't have a problem with that. I've never said anything overly encouraging about Michigan's offense.
All right, guys. Hey, I got to get in another break here. When we come back, gang, there is a head coach that is out in college football, and it's got nothing to do with his performance on the field. We'll talk about Washington State's Nick Rolovich, why he's out. We'll do that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 5-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz for Underdog Fantasy. My teams stink. Actually, I went 3-2 this week, which is good because I got 5 fantasy teams, but I'm not going to win any championships. But I can win tonight if I bet the ALCS and the NLCS on Underdog Fantasy. Let's tell you about it. Underdog Fantasy, the NFL season's underway. You got it all going on. All the sports going on. NBA, you can pick an NBA team tonight through their slick mobile app and user-friendly site. You join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are going to help you start. They give you a free $10 if you just join up and use that promo code WSN. Put $10 in. They will match it and give you $10 to play. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com, the App Store, or the Google Play Store. Sign up using WSN. Get you free $10 by just putting in a $10 bill. Promo code WSN.
All right, gang. It is. I hate talking about the stuff. I just do, but it's hard to avoid. Washington State has fired their head football coach and 4 assistants for failing to comply with the vaccine mandate set by the governor of the state of Washington, Jay Inslee. So Nick Rolovich is the head coach. He applied for a religious exemption from getting the vaccine. That request was denied. It is a state mandate that all state employees must get the jab. He didn't do it. Neither did 4 others. And now he is out. He was fired. Evander Kane of the San Jose Sharks suspended 21 games without pay because he submitted a fake COVID-19 vaccination card.
Boy, he's got a hard time this year.
I've seen those.
Yeah, so the thing about this is we always talk about how sports is a reflection of society. This is no different from what is going on in society. I mean, you go through any field and you're seeing people quit their jobs, get fired from their jobs over these decisions. I do have a little bit of an issue with the coach,
right?
With the football coach.
You have an issue with him not getting the job, or
yes,
him? Okay.
Yes.
It's a religious belief stuff.
Yeah, I do have because I think this is a really unique spot for the coach. And however I feel about vaccine mandates doesn't even matter. But when you're the coach and you walk into some 17-year-old kid's house and you tell their parent, this guy, what did he coach, 11 games? Yeah. I mean, you're saying I'm going to take care of your kid and now you're out? I don't know. I hate being strong about the vaccine stuff. Because everybody's got their reasons for anything. I don't care for the one size fits all anything.
Right.
It's just not. But this one, I just feel like is a little, just rubs me the wrong way with the coach. It's hard to characterize. I'm trying to walk a line because everybody feels like however they feel about the vaccine. I just when you're telling
he gave up his career, bro.
Yeah,
I
know.
So.
Yeah.
You can't fault the man. That's what he said. You know what? He put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, he did.
And he said, okay, he might never get another head coaching job.
I mean, maybe you go to a state that doesn't have a Band-Aid. I don't know.
I think a big part of that is when you are telling when you're, I guess, to what you said, you talking about.
You walk into somebody's living room and you say, I'm going to take care of your kid.
Right. When you say you're going to take care of my kid, and then I believe you, I entrust my kid to you. Say, hey, you're going to take care of my kid? I believe you. I'm going to entrust my kid to you. Because I'm believing that because I believe what you stand for, you as a person, you as a program. I'm believing your athletic values. I'm believing in your athletic program. I'm believing in everything that I need to. I'm checking all the boxes when I'm giving my kid up, right? And I check the box. One of the biggest boxes is people's moral code, people's moral values. That was one of the big things for my parents when I went to Michigan. Obviously, it was Michigan, so they were happy I was going. But they love who Lloyd Carr was as a person, as a man, what he stood for, what the school stood for. Him giving up his coaching job for his religious beliefs, it says a lot about his moral code. It talks about his values. So for me, if that's it, I say, hey, I wish this coach would have stayed on. I wish the circumstances would have allowed it. But he is exactly who I thought he was. When I let my child go there, I would have no problem with that because he's still on his moral values.
He is the highest paid state employee at $3.2 million. So
not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Man.
I don't know how that works.
Wait, he's making what? Get a vaccine? No,
right.
I'm joking.
$3.2 million.
He'll have a settlement. Obviously, there's a settlement here. He's going to get something out of it. But he gave up a great gig, man.
Yeah.
They loved him there at Washington State.
Yeah.
I heard his AD speak today, and he was almost in tears that it had to come to this.
Yeah, but did he give it up, or was he forced to?
He was fired.
Yeah, the governor says you got
Yeah,
you had till Monday at noon.
So he didn't give it up then. To give it up is just to walk away from something. Like he didn't give it up. His religious beliefs wouldn't allow him to do it. And you got to think about that. Let's say that he conformed and he converged, and then he just went, hey, you know what? I love this team. I love the $3.2 million. My wife loves the $3.2 million. So I'll stay on. Now what is he compromising? Family, faith. How do you go to holiday dinners after you said to hell with our religion?
And you got that, and this wasn't a Washington State University thing. This was a state of Washington situation. It's just like Adam Silver apparently just had a meeting with Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
And apparently Adam Silver told Kyrie Irving, hey, this isn't, your issue is not with me. Your issue is with the state of New York and the city of New York City.
And California.
But Kyrie Irving specifically, talking about.
But he had to go on the road to California eventually.
Yeah. Well, sure, California and D.C., where there's
Canada.
also a mandate. Canada, playing Toronto. So, I mean.
He'd miss a lot of games.
Oh, absolutely he would. But because he plays in his home state.
Yeah.
And
that's his city, the city he was born in.
And Patrick Kane, I don't know what he's doing, man. This guy. He's had a lot of issues over the last 3, 4, 5 months that have been out there in the public. And
Evander came.
What did I say? Patrick Evander came.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is I saw those fake, those fake COVID cards like a while ago. Like I saw people that had them, and I said it would be interesting if this got to, mainstream. Like if this got to sport, because it's so easy to use one. Like, I see guys use them and it's easy. Like nobody knows, nobody really cares. You flash it is what it is. So I said, you know what? This is going to get in the mainstream and it's going to be interesting because I wondered if it was going to actually pass, but then you should always know you cannot pull the wool over the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB.
Mm-mm.
You just can't do it. After that running back got caught from Oregon, remember the running back that got caught from Oregon State to play for Minnesota got caught with the Wizinator?
No.
Oh yeah, I remember the old Wizinator.
Yeah, the Wizinator.
Man.
Oh yeah,
You know what the Wizinator is?
Yeah, now they watch
took it
it,
into
right?
the stall. Oh yeah.
They don't close that
and he got
door
caught.
anymore.
It was at the airport. Like it came out of his pocket at the airport, so he got arrested.
The Wizinator.
The Wizinator, man. Last
Is it
time
like
I saw
a
one of those was on
pouch of pee?
Entourage. No, it's a fake
thing.
Fake.
Oh.
extremity.
I got you.
It's a fake extremity
extra
that they load. Yeah, there's an extra one. It's a fourth leg. It's an extra, and you load it up with the real urine.
The real good stuff?
With somebody else's stuff.
Exactly.
Clean stuff.
It's the same thing that Vince used on Entourage. Remember that one of the last
I do.
the last season.
I love Entourage.
And he was mad. What's his name? Who's his
Jeremy
boy?
Piven.
No, not what's his name. His name was Adrian Grenier. But
I never watched that one.
E told him not to do it.
Right.
He said don't do it, and he did it anyway, and they got away with it.
Yeah, I never watched that one, but I hate talking about
How
these
do you
things.
not?
I can't. Right? Cannot do it. Cannot do it. I don't want to talk
It's not
about
too
it.
late. It's on HBO.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I hate talking about this
The
stuff. It's
vaccine.
just hard to avoid sometimes. You know what I mean? When it really affects
The viewers.
when it really affects sports.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. Like, as long as anything that affects sports, like our job is to come up here and talk about sports. Our job is to focus more on local sports, but our job is to cover sports as it relates to the beat of the country and the beat of the world. And this affects sports. Like Kyrie is one of the biggest entities and the biggest player in sport in the country. Got to talk about it. You got to talk about coaches that won't sacrifice religious beliefs for the vaccine or for the jab. It affects sports. That's what we do.
All right, gang, going to take a break. This is Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports, the bottom line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back. Coming back with some NFL news. Get you back going with the NFL. Saquon Barkley, you remember him? 4 years ago, Saquon Barkley out of Penn State, drafted number 2 overall, supposed to change the franchise for the NFL New York Football Giants. You got Saquon, you got Odell Beckham. It was supposed to be a match made in heaven, and it was for 1 year. Saquon came out rookie year, 2,000 yards from scrimmage, Pro Bowl, 1,300 yards rushing, 700 yards receiving. Looked like it was going to be the pick that they took. Looked like they were going to get justified for drafting the running back number 2. Year 2, misses 4 games, only has 1,000 yards. Year 3, last year, he gets hurt. Game 2, out for the year. Season-ending ACL surgery. Came back, fought his way back, Ryan, this year. Now in Game 5, compound fracture in his ankle. Is it time to trade Saquon Barkley now while there's still trade value for him?
What can you get for him?
Right now, you still probably can get a first-round pick for him.
Absolutely.
Right now, you still can get a first-round pick for him.
The New York Football Giants are 16-38 since they drafted Saquon Barkley, number 2 overall in 2018. I'll say that record again, 16-38 since they drafted Saquon Barkley.
It's a mess there.
You don't have to be a mathematician to know that's bad.
They want to run Dave Gettleman out of town. Joe Judge spoke up, and he is not being taken well in New York either. They got their head handed to them last week by Matthew Stafford and the Rams. I remember back in the mid-'70s when really things got bad in New York for the Giants, and they burned their season tickets in front of Giant Stadium. And finally, they did it. They cleaned house. They brought George Young in. He brings in Bill Parcells, and the rest is history. Actually, Ray Perkins, and then into Bill Parcells after that, and the Giants became the Giants. But now they've regressed back to the mid-'70s again, and it's not a good thing right now. In New York, they had Eli Manning at the stadium on Sunday. It was supposed to be a great day. They crapped the bed. They're terrible, and it's not getting better.
And you know who's hurt again?
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay.
I know. And you know what, Saquon, when they took him, they had a chance to take Sam Darnold, and they passed on him. Jets took him right away. Wow. And New York was like, wow, how could you pass on Saquon? How could you pass on Sam Darnold? Now both of them might be out of town.
Right.
Yeah, I've always wondered, and like growing up, the Giants they were hit and miss kind of for me. Like, don't get me wrong, when I was in high school, they did go to the one Super Bowl where they got destroyed by the Baltimore Ravens.
Super Bowl 35.
Exactly. But for a team like the New York Giants to be the Mecca, like New York's the Mecca of sport. It's the Mecca of just, population. It's just the Mecca of, media, entertainment, everything. I just don't understand how the Giants have always been terrible. Like, if you look at it, they win a Super Bowl, 2007, they'll win the Super Bowl, and then, or 2008, then they disappear for 5 years. Then they win another Super Bowl, and then they disappear for 20 years.
There's no above-average Giants year. They either win the Super Bowl or they're really bad.
It's not like the Steelers. With the Steelers, it's they may not win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be a team that challenge. They're going to get to the playoffs. They will challenge for a potential AFC championship, but definitely second round. But the Giants, it's like Super Bowl or bust. I never understood.
4 Super Bowls for them, and they lost a couple, but 4 Super Bowls. So not a bad run. We're still looking just to get in a Super Bowl here in Detroit, so we can't complain too much.
As a resident Giants fan, what could you get for Saquon Barkley? What would you be okay with? I mean, obviously,
I wouldn't want just a number 1 for him. I would want something else for him.
Can he play for you? I mean, look, it's his 4th year in the league. How many more years does he have?
And he's a running back.
It's a freak accident. The last injury was a freak accident.
But
he stepped on someone's ankle.
As a running back, your career is very short to begin with.
Especially the way he runs.
Then you start compounding and compiling all of these injuries. How many more years does he have left? And if he's got 3 or 4 max good years, look at Todd Gurley. Look at these guys that are just...
Yeah, but Todd Gurley was run and run and run. Saquon hardly has any miles on.
Well, but he has big injuries though. Like, it's to your point, Todd Gurley did get run and run and run. You look at that, but it's the same. And
what about Le'Veon Bell?
It's the same and even worse.
He blew it.
It's the same. Did he blow it?
Yeah, he blew it.
They didn't pay him.
He blew it.
No, I disagree with that. They didn't.
That's fine. But he's not the same. He's garbage now.
It's not his fault.
It is. He took a year off.
He didn't take a year off. They didn't pay him. Like, he need to pay his work.
He was under contract.
Why does that quarterbacks get extensions but running backs can't? That's BS.
Either way, Le'Veon Bell was a great back.
He was.
And he was a great back for a short period of time. So all that stuff, like, he's not that old. Le'Veon Bell's not that old.
He's still under 30.
But he's not.
Right at that.
But think about that.
No, I agree.
So what I'm saying is, how many more years does Saquon Barkley have left to where you want to keep him?
4 or 5 good years still.
Okay, are you going to be good in 4 or 5 good years?
The Giants? Of course they will.
Might take you 3 years
to
get out of this mess.
They have their quarterback.
Maz,
Maz,
you're looking at it. You're looking at it from a he's still young point of view. You're not looking at it from a torn ACL, compound fracture of the ankle. Those things add up.
No, wait, compound. I thought it was a high ankle sprain.
Sprains don't keep you out for the season.
He's not out for the season. He's out for another week. Let's see how it goes. I don't think he broke his ankle. He had he had an ACL. And have you seen his legs? If Alex could dig up a picture of Saquon Barkley's legs, they're tree trunks. The guy is a workout warrior. My money's on him. I don't want just a number 1 pick for him. Otherwise, I'll just keep him. That's me.
if he continues to get hurt, you keep him, you don't get the trade value, maybe a player or two with the trade value that you can get now, you're going to be looking at this decision in 5 years, or you're going to be like 3 years from now, and you're going to say, dang, I wish we would have moved him. I'm just telling you that because he got hurt in college too. Like, this isn't something new. He got hurt at Penn State a couple times as well. Like, it's the way in which he runs the ball. Like, now with running backs, run between tackles, get down when you can get down, get outside when you can get down. Derrick Henry may be a big guy we talked about, but watch how he runs. He takes his time. He picks his spots. When he finds them, he takes off. If it's not there, he goes down. Like, Saquon is running over everybody, jumping over everybody. He's doing these tricks and this circus act, which is amazing. Which is amazing.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's all well
Look
and
at
good.
that man's legs.
It's all well and good till you just keep getting injured. Eddie George
He's not working the right way.
Big too.
He's not working the right way.
Do
do you know why he's not working the right way? Because he's always getting hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're
hey, bro, it's an accident. He stepped on
that
someone's
one
ankle.
was an accident. This
He had
last
one major injury that he got better.
But he had 3 injuries at Penn State. He had an ankle injury at Penn State. He had a knee thing and 2 ankles at Penn State.
Okay.
So I love Saquon Barkley. I was never mad at the Giants for drafting with the number 2 pick. I thought he should have been the first pick overall.
I just don't think they can get a lot for him. So if you can't, then I'm keeping him.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it.
At that point, if you can't get anything for him.
What's up with Mahomes?
Hey, that's what I was going to ask you. This is a terrible meme for Mahomes that's going around comparing him to Spencer Rattler.
Oh, my
Look
God.
at this. He morphs into Spencer Rattler.
Oh, what happened?
That had to be the first half of last week, of Sunday.
13 interceptions
And then it
for
goes
Mahomes.
Yes.
And then it goes back. That's a good.
13 interceptions for Mahomes in his last 14 games played. What has happened to Braylon Edwards to Patrick Mahomes?
What I think is Patrick Mahomes is a special player. Like, we've never seen anything like Patrick Mahomes, and he's a generational talent of a player. Early on, the Kansas City Chiefs, they had just enough on defense to mask how good he was. So you mix in just, you get your Frank Clark from Michigan getting 11 sacks, 12 sacks. You got Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, operating at a Pro Bowl level. And then you have a bunch of filler guys in there. You can use his talent and Mahomes can cover up for that defense. It's kind of similar to what the Rams did, the greatest show on turf.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Warner was playing so well that it masked that decent or just average defense of the Rams. That's what you're seeing. Now you got injuries on that defense. Everybody's hurt on that defense. The defense is not even no longer good. They're the worst in the NFL. And now Patrick Mahomes is having to press. He's having to force. All that cool stuff he was doing early on, the flick passes and the no-look stuff, and I'm throwing this way, I'm looking that way. Like, that's cool when your defense is still holding up a little bit, and you're doing that because you can't, because it's extra. Now you have to do stuff. Like, now you got to dial in to regular football, and you're seeing them struggle. Like, you're seeing everybody force. I've never seen Tyreek Hill drop this many passes.
Right.
Like, Travis Kelce doesn't look himself.
Who?
Travis Kelce.
He's banged up,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's one of those
See what I
things
did
where
there?
it's one of those things where you got to look at this Kansas City Chiefs offense, and you got to tell them they have to refocus. Because all that cool stuff, all the the commercials and all the stuff that you guys are doing that gets away from football. See, that's cool when you're winning. As a coach, I have no problem with that. Now that we're getting exposed on defense, now you guys really got to come to the forefront. Now I need to really see the skill that I traded for or drafted for. You guys got to be here. You guys got to get away from all the commercials and all that cool stuff. We got to win some games. All that State Farm stuff, leave that to Aaron Rodgers. Leave that to Aaron Rodgers. Travis Kelce.
See you in 10 years, Patrick.
Hey, we all picked the Chiefs to go in the Super Bowl. Most of us did.
Yep.
It ain't going to happen. They're not the same team. The Bucks show the NFL how to beat them. This guy is running for his life most days, even though they improved the offensive line this year. They made that trade with the Ravens, and they improved their offensive line. They're not the same. I don't see them coming out of this.
And when I see Patrick Mahomes struggles with the Chiefs and with the Chiefs struggles overall, now they pretty much dominated 3/4 of the game in Washington this week. We got that game locally here. Watch that a little bit because our team wasn't very good. It just kind of highlights for me how special Tom Brady is and that sustained success of the New England Patriots for all of those years. for the better part of 18, 20 years. And I know there was like a 9-10 year gap in between, world championships. But my goodness, like Mahomes, I don't think we ever thought he was going to lose another football game, period, for a while before last year against the Bucks.
The one thing about Tom Brady, they talk about the 20 years, right? You talk about this 20-year period. Now, granted, he started taking care of his body really well. The TB12 diet and the things that he really started doing his last couple years with the Patriots. But even before that, all the stuff that he was doing, Tom Brady was quiet. Tom Brady was quiet in the offseason. You didn't see a ton of Tom Brady commercials. You didn't see Tom Brady, and even Peyton Manning. Think about that. You didn't see Peyton Manning in all the commercials until the end. Not till he really got to Buffalo. I mean, not till he kind of retired semi and then came back with the Broncos. You never see Tom Brady until this last 3-year run with the Patriots and now with the Bucks where he's doing more. For basically the better part of 17 years, he was quietly doing things in the offseason. He was working, preparing his craft. Same thing with Drew Brees. Same thing with Peyton Manning. Now these young guys, so much is being thrown at these guys in terms of endorsements. I'm not saying they're not working, because I want them to make all the money they can. I wish I could get some of that money.
Right.
So I'm not hating on that at all. But that takes away from the focus. That takes you away from Kansas City, and to go do this commercial shoot, to go do this commercial. It takes you away. Look at Baker Mayfield. When he first got in the league, all the commercials and they complain. Baker Mayfield had the most commercials in the NFL. Actually, Baker Mayfield had the most commercials next to LeBron James when he first came in, and he was getting beat up. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing Baker Mayfield only one commercial. He does the one where he's at home at the stadium, and the Hulu Sports. He only does two.
Stay at home so he can do it.
Exactly.
After week 8, let's do this. Let's put our preseason Super Bowl picks up, and then let's revise those.
I had the Cardinals.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Hell no.
So
No,
after week 8, Maz, and make sure we do this.
Hey,
You gonna
Tampa
jot
and the
this
Chiefs.
down, Maz? Good. I want you to. We're after week 8 of the NFL. We're going to redo our Super Bowl picks and see how many.
I like that.
Preseason, and now this is where we are. So that's what we'll do after week 8. But you got something else?
I was just going to say it. So I had, I had the Chiefs and I had Tampa. The interesting thing, after everything that we just said about Patrick Mahomes, it's still Patrick Mahomes, and you saw that in that fourth quarter of that Washington football game. He's still freaking dangerous.
Football team.
Hey, and then you had the extra game. What are they right? They played 6. They still have 11 games left, so he still has time.
Tough AFC West.
It's a hell of a tough AFC West.
Guys, bottom line videos of the day. We'll do it next.
Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Maz gave Braylon that stink eye. What were you guys talking about?
We were talking about when we were talking about Le'Veon Bell.
He was so mad at you.
He was mad at me.
You were so mad.
We were.
I get under his skin easy.
We were equally mad. The reason why I was more so mad is because Ben Roethlisberger left Le'Veon Bell out to dry, and he left Antonio Brown.
Ben's a jerk.
I know,
Ben's
but
the
because
worst.
he did that, immediately overnight, the perception of Le'Veon Bell changed after what Ben said. Meanwhile, Ben's been doing the same thing. He's been getting extension after extension, holding the Rooney family hostage. I just feel like if you outplay your contract early in that contract, you deserve to be
totally agree
to
with
be
you.
especially
Totally
at a
agree with
position where they use the position anyway. They take advantage of running backs. So you got to be careful.
Listen, you think Jerry Jones is happy he gave Zeke the money when he's got the backup running better than Ezekiel?
I think so. Yes,
and his name just got out of my head here for a second.
Pollard.
Yeah,
but
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard, but he gave Zeke that money early on. Imagine if he would have would have waited.
Yeah.
Imagine if he would have waited to have to pay Zeke. Then if he would have waited, then the money would have gone up. So I think he paid him at the right time.
I don't think it would have went up because it didn't go up for Le'Veon. He took less.
He had to take less because he wasn't playing.
Well, what do you think Zeke would have done? He would have done the same thing.
I don't know. Yeah, that's good. That's a good conversation.
Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott? I'll take Tony Pollard right now because you're not paying him anything. Just my opinion.
Analytics, baby.
Bottom line videos of the day, Maz. Go for it, buddy.
All right. First of all, we got the NBA coming on tonight. I'd like to show you this. This is from Bleacher Report. NBA starts tonight. This video will catch everybody up on what they're supposed to look for in the NBA coming up here in 2021 and 2022. Check it out.
Milwaukee, we did it, baby! We did it!
With the first pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the Cade Cunningham.
Shout out to everybody that won this gold. This skill is unmatched. You dig?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm able to play at this level for the next however many years because I don't plan on slowing down.
New York. Walker. This time. Nice lead pass for Caruso. Back to DeRozan.
I said the last time I spoke to you guys that it hasn't come from me, but it's not true.
All right.
NBA should be interesting this season, but something interesting I was looking at, I was kind of listening
Love
to
the NBA.
is, you talk about Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets and what's going on there, him taking the jab, not taking the jab, or being vaccinated, not vaccinating. If you look at that roster, now granted, Kyrie is the guy. Like, they need Kyrie to win. But they got a hell of a roster, man. You look at LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge is coming back. They added Patty Mills. Patty Mills is a great number 2 point guard coming off the bench. All those years with the Spurs. You look at Paul Millsap, a defensive as well as scoring player to come off the bench.
They got a trio of power forwards.
Nicholas Claxton, who they basically drafted Nicholas Claxton and said, no, DeAndre Jordan, we don't need you. You go out there to L.A., we don't need you, because they took Nicholas Claxton. That team is good, man. Like, that team, and not to mention KD, and then obviously Beard.
Those guys.
That's a heck of a team, man. Like, hey,
very good.
Kyrie, watch out.
Good stuff, man. NBA tonight. Pistons play the Bulls tomorrow. We'll get into it on tomorrow's show. Here's one for you guys. Remember I was telling you about Joe Judge and the Giants?
Yep.
The Giant fans want to run Joe Judge out, right? Check out Dan Orlovsky on Joe Judge. You're going to love this. Ryan Clark had to get off the set. He was laughing so hard. Check this out.
Say this, okay? Players in the locker room don't like Timmy Toughnut coaches when you're losing football games.
Timmy Toughnut.
Timmy Toughnut's from Joe Judge.
Yeah.
And you're losing football games.
Yeah.
And your quarterback goes. Everybody on your team is hurt. You're down 38-3 at half or at the end of the game. Your quarterback is still in the game with like 2 minutes to go, and he's taking shots when everybody on your team is hurt. Like, this is just a disappointment by the Giants.
Here's the problem.
That's the best
dad joke you ever told. Well, here's the thing. We're not nearly mature enough to sit through Timmy Toughnut. But here's the.
There you go.
Look at Rex up there, dude. Sexy Rexy.
I can't stand those Timmy Toughnut guys, and they're not just coaches. Sometimes they're players. Sometimes they're former players. I was on the sideline, and you know what? I really want to say his name, but I'm not going to be that guy.
Shannon Sharp?
I'm not going to say no. He's a former player of the same school as me. We were on the sideline. And then the Shane Morris.
Say it.
And no, I won't. When Shane Morris got hurt in the infamous game against Minnesota, and Minnesota beat the snot out of Michigan, then Shane Morris gets hurt. I could see that Shane Morris was dazed and confused like the movie. I could see it. I'm like, yo, they got to get him out of there. And this player, former player, no, that's what they need. He needs to get beat up, man, and then go in there and show some fight. So I'm like, man, you don't even know where the hell he's at.
Chill
what
out.
Do you mean? He was like, no, that's what they need. And then he played the next play. Remember, he played 2 plays. He came in again and then got knocked out again. And then eventually they go in, they get Shane out.
Freaking
and now I'm
Brady
looking at him like this. And he's like, sometimes that's what you need, bro. I'm like,
Brady.
So this guy is a legend at the University of Michigan, and he's around the program. Never liked the guy.
All right, check
Can't
this
wait
out.
to get off the air and hear that one.
You know, ALCS, NLCS is going on. Boston is rocking things right now, so I'm not in a good mood. Boston, the Dodgers are doing well. Well, I hope Braves can beat them. Anyway, this is the last great moment in Yankee history, and I got to go back all the way to 2003. It happened this past weekend, all those years ago. Take it away.
In the 8th inning, leading by 3 as Boone hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series. Boone, a hero in Game 7.
That's it, man. That's all I got as a Yankee fan right now. I got to go back to 2003. By the way, they re-signed Aaron Boone for 3 years. Now let's take you back.
Well, they won in 2009, so
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, 2009. That's how y'all got traded. That's how I know.
Well, the year after that is when Boston broke broke their hearts. 2004 came back. Anyway, 1989. This past weekend.
Never forget it.
You can't forget this. Al Michaels and Tim McCarver on the call of the World Series.
Flash forward to the bottom of the 4th inning. Dave Parker barely by inches just misses a home run. Candy Maldonado with the hesitation, allowing Jose Canseco to score, and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base. So the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an
How about that?
I'll never forget that.
Earthquake, one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
And they knew it. They were feeling the vibrations.
Yep.
And Tim McCarver was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Earthquake.
And Al Michaels got that last thing in there.
Could have been a home run if it wasn't an earthquake, right?
Earthquake.
Man, that was horrible.
Crazy.
The people that lost their lives. That Bay Bridge. Oh my God.
Terrible, man.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Sheesh.
All right, gang. Thanks for ending the show with that, man.
Hey, what can I tell you?
It's funny.
You told me get the earthquake in. I wasn't gonna.
It's perfect. It's perfect that you had that video in because we had a blackout on Twitter today, so it's perfect.
We have an earthquake every day.
Yeah, or a hurricane. Gang,
are we even on?
So great to be with you today. This has been great. I love everybody here.
Man, love you guys here, man.
And hopefully you Sparty fans out there, well, just hopefully out there, we love you. We appreciate you.
Hey, look, to Sparty, at the end of the day, man, it's no love lost. I have no disrespect against you, no ill will.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Do. You know what? Screw it. We're fans.
I don't have to have ill will towards them because you know what? Just like Aaron Rodgers said, I still own you.
That's right, baby.
And that's how you drop the mic.
And that's the bottom line.
Oh, guess what? October 30th, same day it was 17 years ago. We coming. 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 Yeah, that's the bottom line.
That turned
Ryan
quickly.
Edwards, baby.
Schwarber hits it a ton into right at the wall. Another grand slam.